So I'm in the middle of my yoga teacher certification, and I'm here to tell you that I am the only person on earth who can make yoga stressful. This week, I finally recorded my first teaching video. 15 minutes in, I felt great. I was doing the thing. I had not hit record. Welcome to A Beautiful Fix. I'm Tracy Hill. Each week, we'll dive into the latest thought gem, recharging and reconnecting with what lights you up and makes you feel alive. Let's discover your next beautiful fix together. Hey, real quick before we dive in, you're powerful. And sometimes you just need someone to remind you what's already in you. That's what human design does. It's the difference between guessing and knowing. So you can stop searching outside yourself and start trusting the answers within. I promise you they're there. Grab your free chart at abeautifulfix.com, and when you're ready to go deeper, book a one-to-one session with me. All right, let's get into the episode. Okay, so this yoga video. So for context, let me just go back. Part of getting certified as a yoga teacher requires recording 15 hours of yourself teaching yoga. My teacher told us on day one, do not wait until the end to start recording these videos. I thought that is excellent advice. Yeah, like totally. Why would I do that? I'm going to get right on this. Which is why I waited 6 months and did not record a single video, not a minute, nothing, nada. And this week, I've just recently finished my third intensive. I finished all the coursework and no videos. So I was like, this is it. Enough is enough. I'm doing it. I'm just going to do the thing. We're going to get one under our belt. So I set everything up. I convinced my husband to be my student. You don't even need to teach anyone. You literally have to just set up a camera and just pretend. As long as she can see you and she can hear you cueing, that's it. But I like to complicate things. So I convinced my husband to please be my student and, got the room set up, and I was doing the thing. I taught for 15 minutes. I was 15 minutes in. I'm feeling good about myself. Tracy, we're doing the thing. And then a small, just quiet voice in the back of my head just asked one question. Did you hit record? Oh, I had not. I stopped what I was doing. I ran over to my phone. I stared at the record screen and you could see the 00:00, like nothing was happening. And that was it. That was it. I just threw up my hands and was like, this is ridiculous. I'm never going to get it done. Blah, 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 complain, excuse. Just started spiraling. And my husband just very calmly looked at me and said, Tracy, what if you just start over? Oh, I did not want to hear that. I was not happy. And I just started to I wanted to just rip in to him and just tell him exactly why that could never work. And here's the problem with that. And I had nothing. I just stopped, sighed, asked him, are you sure? Are you sure you're willing to start over? He's like, yeah, let's just start over. And I just said, okay. All right, I calmed down, took some deep breaths, reminded myself what it was I was doing. Yoga. Yoga. All of the yamas we've been talking about. Yoga. And here I am just getting so worked up, and it just, as simple as it was, just start over. And the moment I just stopped fighting it, took a breath, and just let it be what it was, a video, just a video, it was fine. It was fine. And that is what today is about. So today I'm starting something new. We spent some time together on the 5 yamas. Those are the ancient guidelines for how we move through the world around us. Now we're moving inward. So the niyamas are the 5 practices for how we move through ourselves. So if the yamas are the outer work, the niyamas are the inner work. And the first niyama is Saucha. And Saucha means purity. And before you picture something sterile and, rigid and perfectionist, let me just reframe that immediately. Let's go back to Deborah Dell. I've been reading her book, The Yamas and the Niyamas, and she made a distinction that really helped clear it up. So cleanliness is about scrubbing the outside. It changes how things appear, but purity works on the inside. It changes your very essence. So Saucha is not asking you to have a spotless house, but it is asking you to lighten the load that you are carrying. And that may look differently for everyone. That could be just more movement, working out more, drinking more water, cleaning out that closet. We all know that's still on my list. Clearing mental clutter. And she explained why this idea of purification is such a high priority. It's not about being clean for the sake of just being clean. It's about the energy that lies mostly dormant within us, an energy of consciousness, and we've all felt it move. So I get chills because I love this. She talks about we have felt the energy that lives within us move when tears well up unexpectedly because something is so beautiful you cannot hold it. You're overwhelmed in its presence. Or when a piece of music just reaches deep inside of you. Or you're standing somewhere in nature and something in you just kind of opens up. That is the energy. And Saucha is the practice of clearing the path so it can move more freely. That is literally what I'm chasing with every beautiful fix. That feeling, that movement. It's why I created a beautiful fix. That is my drug of choice. It's getting high on life in the most beautiful way. I search for these fixes. Anything that creates that feeling that she just described, being in the presence of beauty, where you are overwhelmed, when you feel your eyes kind of well up with tears or your heart open up to something. I never thought about it as energy moving, of an example of this energy that we have inside of us. It certainly does. It moves. You come alive. She also she told a little story about her sister-in-law who had just returned from visiting her grandson. And when she came home, it was like she was transformed because she had spent all of these days seeing the world through the eyes of a child, of her grandson, fresh and curious and just delighted by everything. And the Buddhists call this the beginner's mind. And I talked about the beginner's mind in one of my episodes called Mr. No, when I went to the Isha Institute and I was totally just clueless as to what was going on. And I was saying that sometimes we forget what it feels like to be a beginner, to be new at something, to be a freshman, just seeing things, for the first time, not putting expectations or assumptions onto something, just letting it be what it actually is. And I kind of witnessed this firsthand the other day when my husband and I were in Chicago, and I told this story briefly on an episode that's coming up. But we were in Chicago and we were parked at a stoplight, and this little girl just comes bouncing across the crosswalk. Her parents were, a couple steps behind her.
And she is just skipping, just not a care in the world, curls just bouncing in the wind. She wasn't worried about anybody. She wasn't doing it for anyone. Whatever was on her mind, she was fully present in that moment without a care in the world. And I just turned to my husband and said, I hope she never forgets that feeling. It was absolutely beautiful to be present, to see that. So there's a question that she poses in the book. Rather than planning ourselves, what if we practice unplanning ourselves? I love that. I've mentioned before, I'm not a planner, so I'm completely on board with that. Just what if we let the moment be exactly what it is instead of what we think it should be? What if you just leave yourself alone? Because that is what I was not doing for 6 months. I was not leaving myself alone. I was managing myself, judging myself. I was imposing an idea of what the video needed to be onto something that just needed to get done. I was overthinking it. I was making it in my perfectionist ways were just completely ruling everything. I fired my perfectionist side of me. I sent her packing. It was ridiculous. I was trying to make everything perfect and have everything timed and all of that. None of that was necessary. Now, this video that I did, that I now have under my belt, it's nothing impressive, but I did it. I just did it. So purity is about being pure in our relationship with it as it is in the moment. When my husband said, just start over, and I had nothing to argue with, I finally left myself alone. I let the video be what it was. I let myself be where I was. And everything that had been stuck for 6 months just kind of unstuck in about an hour. Actually, it unstuck as soon as I started, as soon as I was doing the thing. That is Saucha, not about everything being perfect and clean and ready. It's where you stop just imposing and you just show up. You leave yourself alone. So this week, I want to leave you with one of the invitations that Deborah Dell suggests at the end of this chapter. Be purely with yourself. Leave yourself alone. Notice where you're managing yourself or judging yourself or imposing expectations on yourself that have nothing to do with who you actually are in this moment. And just for this week, see what happens when you stop. What would you do if you just left yourself alone? And until next time, keep getting high on life, one beautiful fix at a time. Thanks for listening to A Beautiful Fix. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a quick review to help others find us. And if you'd like to share your own beautiful fix or join me as a guest, reach out anytime at tracy@abeautifulfix.com. Looking forward to next time.